Thank you for joining me today. My name is Bobbie Macfarlane, and today I will be discussing the characteristics of those with autism spectrum disorder. The characteristics I want to touch on today are cognitive and neurological, behavioral and sensory, communication and language, and social characteristics of those on the spectrum. Cognitive and neurological characteristics of students and children with autism spectrum disorder. Some of the common ones are difficulty empathizing with others, problems controlling behaviors, aptitude for detecting details, interest in systems and the ability to figure them out, a wide range of IQs, and impaired or motor impairment. Again, these are common characteristics. Not every student or child with autism spectrum disorder will show signs of these, but they are some of the core characteristics that can be expected from someone diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Moving to behavioral and sensory characteristics, we often see repetitive movements, attachment, obsession with unusual things, a strong need for order and routines, clumsiness, poor posture, odd movements. Often we see a fascination with individual parts of things, spinning wheels on a toy instead of maybe playing with the whole toy car. Sensitivity to sensory input, resulting in either under or overreactive behaviors. This one is definitely where we see a spectrum. Some students or children with autism spectrum disorder react in a strong way to things that might not impact another student the same way, or we can see the other side of that and not reacting to something that might startle or scare someone that's not on the spectrum. Some common communication and language characteristics are delay learning how to speak, speaking with an atypical rhythm or pitch, repeating words and phrases, trouble starting a conversation or keeping a conversation going. I will touch on this one a little bit more when we get to social characteristics. Comprehension issues, if they are having a conversation with someone, they might not fully understand what's being said, even if they understand the meaning of the words. Missing social cues or humor, another one that we often see in the social aspect of autism as well. And here we are, social characteristics. Students on the spectrum often show difficulty making and keeping friends. This is especially true when we see them in a school setting. It might be harder for them to keep a social group and friends around them, even when other students are making attempts to befriend them. Resistance to touch, we see this one early on with young babies diagnosed with autism. Use of inappropriate language or gestures in social situations. This can be some of the things that, or this can be one of the things that causes students to have difficulty making friends if they are constantly making inappropriate comments or gestures. Other students might not understand what's going on, feel uncomfortable, and not be as likely to hang around them. A preference for being alone, another thing that makes it hard for them to keep friends. A lack of interest in others and what others are talking about. Difficulty understanding emotions and feelings of others. This goes back to that lack of empathy that we see a lot. I wanted to show you guys the resources that I used to find these characteristics. There's so many great resources for parents and teachers who are starting to look into autism and autism spectrum disorder. These are a few of the sites, and I encourage you to reach out to me with any questions. I would love to answer any questions about your child with autism, or if you're a teacher and you're wondering about it. I'm learning some really great things through an autism program. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation of some of the common characteristics of students with autism spectrum disorder.